Good evening, Shore Conference football fans, and welcome back to the Varsity Link Coaches Corner. Tonight we're at MJ's Restaurant, Bar, and Grill in Neptune, talking Shore Conference football. As always, we approach Week 6 coming up in just a couple days. Bob Adder's here along with Ed Sarluca, a little bit lighter here at the table. Kevin Williams off for today, so we'll bring Kevin back next week. But we're back again.
Lighter? What do you mean by that?
No, less people.
Oh, okay.
I suppose if we're talking weight, yes, there's one less person. But in any event, yes, Week 6 is here, so we'll be talking Shore Conference football as always. And delighted later in the program to speak to our featured guest, the Howell Rebels. We'll have two of their outstanding players, Jack Gartenstein, Kevin Maloney on. We'll also talk with head coach Bill Hill in the second half of the hour. So plenty to get to. Playoffs will be here soon. We had pretty much non-divisional week last week. No divisional games on the schedule. That brought us some interesting matchups and some pretty good games, Ed.
Yeah, sure did. I mean, the RBC, our number one team in the Shore, at home, which was, a plus for them to play that game at home, with Seton Hall came down, Seton Hall Prep, and beat them 17-0. I was kind of surprised RBC could not get off the field offensively, and tough loss for RBC.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the number one team in the Shore, Red Bank Catholic. They still are. We'll talk about that when we dive into the top 10 shortly. Yeah, the Cases really couldn't get anything going against a Seton Hall Prep team. Mind you, that is a top 10 team in the state. Red Bank Catholic came in ranked number 3 in the state. Seton Hall Prep was 10. The Pirates had defeated Irvington a couple weeks ago, which is a defending sectional champion, and was also a state top 10 team. So the Pirates very good. It's not like they lost to an also-ran team, but a great defensive game certainly for Seton Hall Prep, keeping RBC out of the end zone. And I think I read the Casey's only were inside the 20-yard line once, maybe twice. So, and also the first two touchdowns Casey's defense has allowed all season. So that's a loss for them. It doesn't really hurt them in any regard. It's a non-public A team, so it's not going to ding them in terms of state playoffs. The only thing that'll hurt them there is the state ranking, which, to be honest, I don't know if they care too much about. Certainly you want to be ranked as high as you can. But Cases will come back this week. They have an American Division game against Manalapan, I believe. So we'll see the Cases try to turn it around. But it was always interesting to see them go up against some of the North Jersey powerhouse teams. Came up short this time.
It actually helps them a little bit in PowerPoint rankings. That's
true.
Because they pick up extra points for playing, out of conference and playing an A school up there in Seton Hall. The other team I want to talk about is Donovan Catholic. Mm-hmm. In our top 5 of teams, they got pounded pretty good up at MetLife Stadium by St. Joe Montvale. Never in the game and down in the 40s to nothing, scored 2 late touchdowns, but kind of surprising there. They just couldn't get their offense going.
41-13 was that final, and St. Joe's Montvale, of course, a traditional powerhouse, and they've been putting up points in a big way this season, and we saw that against Donovan. All 6 of St. Joe's touchdowns were big plays. The shortest one was 38 yards. They had a kick return touchdown, a couple long plays on offense, and they were rolling. They put up 40-something points against St. Peter, so I had a pretty good idea that could be the case with the Donovan team that we know is talented, but they're young. Very young, and just hard to match up with those teams. But you see Donovan and head coach Dan Curcione, they want those games on their schedule. They got it there. It's a tough loss. 2 in a row for the Griffins, but, again, you look at the caliber of teams they play at RBC and then St. Joe's. So they come back into the division this week to look to bounce back as well, Ed.
The other 2 teams in our top 5, Toms River North continues to roll. Beat Toms River South 60-0, and I believe that was the first half score, was it?
No, it was 41-0 at the half,
right.
And then they put in the reserves.
The subs, yeah.
And I know Mordecai Ford had a long touchdown run. They actually had 2 fumble returns for touchdowns.
Yeah,
so.
Michael Ford, didn't have a whole lot of yards like he usually does. I think
he
threw
still put up.
He puts up great
5
numbers.
5 for about 140 yards.
Exactly.
And a few TDs. So, yeah, the biggest problem with Toms North right now is just they had 2 tough games early on, and they're blowing teams out. And, I know they have a game against Middletown North, which is number 10 in our Jeep Store top 10 coming up later in the season. But it doesn't look like they're really going to be challenged until the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Look, it's high school football. anything could happen on any given week, but the Mariners looking really strong heading into the playoffs. And that's after getting to a sectional championship game last year and coming up short. And they're taking care of business. That's safe to say.
That's a very tough bracket that they
Group
will
5?
play in.
Absolutely.
South Jersey Group 5, depending on where they snake through the top 8 from the top 16 when they divide them up. But very tough bracket with the likes of Cherokee down there, Millville. Very tough.
Cherokee. Millville's in Group 4.
Okay. North Brunswick
Lenape,
is in there.
North Brunswick, Washington
Lenape,
Township.
right. North Brunswick and East Brunswick is in there. I mean, there's some tough teams in that bracket, and I guess pretty soon, maybe even this week, we're going to start talking about those playoffs because it's coming time.
I've been glancing at those PowerPoints, so it's getting late early, as we like to say. And then Point Borough continues to roll. The Panthers 56-0 over Toms River East. That flexbone offense is it's unrelenting, and they hit a lot of big plays, and they did the same thing. Jay Croce, their junior fullback, ran for $165 and 4 TDs on 9 carries. So that's a pretty nice day of work. That was, I think that was 42-0 at halftime as well. So they roll in the Middletown South. Our number 5 team had a bye, so they stay there. We'll round out the rest of the top 10 in a minute, but I want to get some other games. Ed, you were at Brick Memorial Freehold Township.
Yes.
Freehold Township on that game earned our Jersey Mike's Team of the Week. 21-20, pretty dramatic win for Freehold Township, and you were there.
Yeah, Memorial jumped out 14-0 in the first half, looked dominating. They held Freehold Township. And then in the second half, it was a completely different game as Freehold Township inserted their young quarterback,
Nick Cardone, sophomore.
Nick Cardone, and it was a completely different ball game. As he threw the ball, they started to go to their running back, who was tough, and fought back, made it 14-14, then scored again with about 30 seconds left, kicked the point to go up 21-14. Memorial came back. They kicked it with about 3 minutes left.
Exactly.
Memorial came back and scored with 30 seconds left. Decided after 3 timeouts, 3 consecutive times. No, they didn't. Howell, Memorial called one, then Howell called
Freehold
one.
Township,
then Freehold Township scored one, and then Memorial called another. So there were 3 timeouts, probably about 10 minutes of nothing happening, and then Memorial decided to go for 2. Missed it on an option by Connor Dietz, and where they knifed through and cut him down on about the 2-yard line. So tough loss for Memorial, great win for Freehold Township.
Yeah, big win for the Patriots. They've alternated wins and losses. They're at 3-3 right now, and that was a big win for them to stay in the hunt. I believe they're 14th now, 15th, right in that area in the South Jersey Group 5 where the top 16 make it. So a big one for Freehold Township. Our guy Steve Meyer was at Freehold Township High School yesterday, presented them with the game ball, the $500 Jersey Mike's gift card. So congratulations to those guys. Manasquan, a team that finally got off the schneid. The Warriors 42-7 over Manchester, first win of the season. And they welcome back their outstanding quarterback, Brett Patton, their senior. Played in the first game against Point Borough, missed the last 2 games, came back, and in the process threw 2 touchdown passes and set Manasquan's all-time career passing record with 40 career touchdowns, passed a really good one, E.G. Page, class in 1996. So Patton back, ready to go in the record book, and Manasquan looked more like that team that we thought we'd see early in the season. Jameer Howard, Brett Patton making big plays, and the defense played pretty well too.
Well, when you lose one of the top quarterbacks in the Shore and then get them back, you can understand the little bit of different pep in the step of the Warriors there. And I'm so happy to see these kids. Senior quarterback, who gets hurt early but then comes back for his senior year. I mean, you hate to see anybody, like a lot of teams around the Shore have lost. Some key senior players
injuries
that can't come back, and they lose out on their senior season. But, Patton's a good one, and I'm anxious to see him play.
Absolutely. A couple other ones. On Sunday, it got pushed all the way to Sunday, was Marlboro against St. John Vianney. First game for St. John Vianney since their senior quarterback, Aaron Van Tree, suffered the neck injury. And first game for Howell since losing their outstanding senior quarterback, A.J. Schwartz, to a leg injury. Talking to both coaches after last week, kind of ironic that they ended up playing each other the following week. And that was a gritty 28-14 win for St. John Vianney, which has now won 5 games in a row. The Lancers number 8 in our top 10. and playing really well after that season opening loss to Red Bank Catholic. We'll go down the rest of the top 10. We mentioned RBC stays at number 1. The explanation there, you can head to the website and check it out. Basically, it's strength of schedule. Tom's North is blowing everyone out, but they have not played the level of competition Red Bank Catholic has, and RBC does have 3 top 10 wins. They beat Donovan Catholic, they beat Middletown South 35-0, and they also have, escaping me right now, but another top 10 win in there.
Safe to say that
St. John Vianney, excuse me.
Safe to say that you and Dave Ozowitz from Tom's River North shouldn't be in the same room together.
I'll tell you not, because I had a long conversation with Oz after last week when we had the Mariners on, and he even said candidly, look, RBC's the best team in the Shore right now, and we're good. If we're going to catch them, it's going to come down to the full body of work. So I think Oz understands that.
Well, the good thing for Tom's River North is that there is a path for them to become number 1 in the overall season.
There absolutely is. Number 3 now, Point Borough, the Panthers. We jumped them up 1 spot over Donovan. Matter of circumstance, could have left Donovan there, but the Griffins have lost 2 in a row. The Panthers not only continue to win, but to do it in convincing fashion. So we jumped them up 1. Donovan down to 4. As we mentioned earlier, Middletown South stays at 5, coming off a bye. Ocean, number 6, same as last week. The rest of the top 10, no changes in the spots. Ocean at number 6 after a 34-13 win over Raritan. Number 7 is Rumson Fairhaven. That was a close game at the half, 3-0. Yep. They were up on Southern, but that defense continues to play well. Anyone who wrote off Rumson, as we said, foolishly so. The Bulldogs have won 3 in a row, and they have a huge one against Middletown South this Friday night. At number 8, St. John Vianney. We talked about their win. 9th is Colts Neck, coming off a 28-13 win over Lacey. We'll talk more about Colts Neck because that's Howell's opponent coming up this week. And at number 10, Middletown North. Just like their crosstown rival, the Lions had a bye, so they come back this week. So that rounds out the top 10 and some teams to watch. Matawan, 4-1. Jackson Memorial only lost to Colts Neck. Shore Regional, 4-1, have won 4 in a row after that season-opening defeat against Westwood. So some teams lurking there if anyone decides to trip up.
Let's give a quick shout-out and congratulate Kenny Pickett, who found the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Went in, threw for like 180 yards and ran for 2 touchdowns.
I can tell you exactly what he did because as a Jets fan, I was glued to that game, and I had a feeling that I was like, watch, he'll come in. Like, great, happy for Kenny Pickett. It was fortunate to be able to cover him. Want to see him succeed, certainly. I'm like, please.
But not
does it have to
Jets.
happen against the Jets? Does he have to come in and lead them on some touchdown drives? But he came in, he looked pretty poised, and they're going to turn to him this week. And we had their head coach, Ocean and head coach Don Klein on. We were here at MJ's a couple weeks ago, and talking to him, he was always confident that Kenny was going to get a chance, and he was going to perform well. And you see him in the interviews, you see him in the press conference and talking to reporters. There's a maturity about him where he doesn't seem like a rookie. He's pretty seasoned. So excited to see what Kenny Pickett do. Pretty hostile environment. He gets to start. They go into Buffalo, so not exactly easing your way in, but it's the NFL. None of those games are easy.
And their quarterback now, who took over for Kenny, Tyler, not
Tyler Douglas.
He didn't take over for him, but Tyler Douglas. It seems like the same mold of quarterbacks, and he continues to have a tremendous year, and he is on his way to Temple University as of right now. He's verbaled there, but outstanding year. Another big-time senior quarterback, as the guy we're going to talk to in a few minutes here.
He is.
Another big-time
jack of all trades, and no pun intended. So, yes, we'll be talking Howell football in just a couple minutes. So we're going to take a quick break right now, and we'll come back talking the Howell Rebels after a big win in Week 5. You're watching the Varsity Link Coach's Corner on the Shore Sports Network. back here on the Week 6 Varsity Link Coaches Corner, live from MJ's Restaurant Bar and Grill in Neptune. Again, great to be back here. We always wanted to work in a Monmouth County location into our rota, so to speak, here, and MJ's has been great. Second show we've done here. Great little spot here. Great location, too, on Route 66. So if you're in the area and you like Shore Conference football, stop on by every other Wednesday, 7 o'clock, or make sure you catch us on shoresportsnetwork.com. And, of course, stop by MJ's. Good food, good drink right here in Monmouth County. And also Varsity Link proudly presenting the Coach's Corner week in, week out. So what's Varsity Link? It's the Athlete's social media network. So picture the best of both worlds with social media. If you're an athlete, it's got everything you need on there, cuts a lot of the fluff out, your statistics, your 40 times, anything like that. Make it easier for you to be recruited, easier for you, easier for college coaches, and also you can interact with players, coaches, teammates. So if you want to learn more, go to varsitylink.com and head to wherever you download apps and check out varsitylink.com. With that, we will welcome in our first guest from the Howell Rebels, two of the top players, not just on the Howell Rebels, but two of the best players in the Shore. To my right, that's your senior, Jack Gartenstein, and over next to Ed, that's junior Kevin Maloney. So, guys, thanks for taking some time out. Late practice today, I know, with the Jewish holiday schedule, but we appreciate you guys coming out and talking with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. We're both really excited to be here.
So I covered the game on Friday night at Wall. Big game for you guys, and I talked to you after that. But, Wall coming in, they were 0-3, but I know you guys didn't treat them as a normal 0-3 team, and you came out with a 24-14 win. So, Kevin, just tell me about the approach, not kind of trying to worry about too much what the record is, and knowing that was a big game for you guys coming in at 2-2.
Well, yeah, that's just a huge game for us in general. And Wall, even though they were 0-3, it's still Wall. Mm-hmm. They've been a dynasty, basically.
Program. Big-time program.
Big-time program for a long time, and we had to treat them very seriously. And came out, we executed, we threw the ball around well, and, yeah.
And, Jack, that was a big win, and we talked about that afterwards and the way you guys played and kind of stuck with it, rolled with the punches, made the big plays when you needed to. What does a win like that do for a team when you're kind of at an area of the season where, 2-2, 3-2 and 2-3 are a lot different. Yeah. You go on the road, beat a quality program. It seems like that can just do a lot of positive things for you guys going forward.
Yeah, it definitely creates a lot of momentum with all the players in the locker room and all the coaches. We all know we're really building something here, and we're just all excited to keep going out and keep getting wins and just build up our record even more. It's nice sitting 3-2.
Yeah, I imagine it is.
Kevin, tremendous facilities at Howell. Mm-hmm. When they put that turf field in a few years back, and I saw it, I said, this is it. It seems like every time somebody puts in a new field, it's the best one around. Yeah. How do you feel on that field? Because I'm sure you've played some games on the old one, right? Back in the day, or no?
I have not.
No? Okay.
But the turf field is very
generation.
nice.
They got it.
Very nice turf field. I mean, I played on grass all Pop Warner and stuff like that, but turf field's very nice. Just feels good to play.
Every time I've covered games at Howell, the atmosphere is always really good. So what's it like running out? You always have a good crew out there. The student section's always pretty amped up. So what's that like Friday nights at home running out there?
Friday nights at home, they're amazing. Our student section, it's great. They're always out there for us, even last year and the years before that when we weren't such a good program. But it's just great to see all of your friends out there rooting for you and stuff.
And you mentioned you guys this year, you're 3-2 now, bounce back. Last year you guys were 2-8. The 2020 year, you almost can't even it's just a random year. Yeah. I think you guys were 2-4 that year. That was when Frank Edgerly was the coach. So now, 3 years later, second year under Coach Hill, you guys have already eclipsed last year's win total. Just coming into this second year, same coach, you're not adjusting to anything new. What were some of the biggest differences that you guys noticed in a positive way, coming into the offseason preparing for this year?
I definitely think a lot of the kids in the locker room, they wanted it more. It was easily noticeable between all the players. We were all hungry to get out there and get more wins than we've had in past seasons because it hasn't been that great. There hasn't been much to cheer about, and we really want success in our locker room. We want the kids that are coming into Howell to be yeah, I want to play for this program because they're good now. I want to continue that.
And you guys, it wasn't too long ago. I want to say 2016, 2017, those couple of years. You guys are playing, and you guys were Pop Warner guys back then, right? So I'm sure you went to the field. Eddie Morales, who's now at Monmouth, Nas Brantley, those guys balling out. Does that kind of stuff carry over? You remember going back and seeing the success and seeing those high-flying offenses, and you get into high school and want to replicate those things?
Yeah, I remember being in 7th grade watching Eddie Morales just run through every defense there was, and like there was no stopping him. Like that kid did what he wanted, and now he's at Monmouth, and he's doing a great job. Like just everything he does, he's doing amazing. And Nas Brantley, going from Sacred Heart to the next school, like, and he's still producing the same way he was. Like, it's really nice to see, and we've all looked up to them since we were kids. Like, we will never forget them, probably.
That's great. I love to hear it.
Kevin, they list you down as a wide receiver / defensive back. What side of the ball you like best?
Offense.
Yeah,
definitely
I could have
offense.
guessed that too.
Yeah, I haven't played too much defense this year, but
You like catching the ball
yeah, definitely.
from this guy?
I mean, yeah, I like catching it from him or Egan. Doesn't matter, it works. Whatever works.
Who's ever thrown it, right?
Yeah, whoever throws it.
Kevin, a third-team Shore Sports Network All-Shore selection last year. I'm glad you brought that up because quarterback situation was something that was a little bit in flux. I mean, Stephen Jardine was your quarterback last year, All-Shore level player, played great in the All-Shore game. I know you played some quarterback last year too. I know coming into the season, you were kind of slated as the quarterback as senior, but you knew you had Egan Nelms there too. And if he could win that job and play at the level you guys need him to play at, I was going to make you a better team because you could move Jack to wide receiver. And I think we saw on Friday how complete of a team that makes you. So, just Kevin, tell me about that. Having Egan step up, win that starting job, and now you look at what you guys can put out there. The two of you on the outside, you have Damian Padilla and then Declan Flaherty coming back in the middle and Brandon right in the backfield. It just seems like that really made you guys whole offensively.
Yeah, definitely, I would say that. Egan, he stepped up big, very big for us, and he's put on a show. He's very good numbers. He had like 270 yards this week.
Yeah.
Played very good, and I don't know, it doesn't matter. And then Jack, we have Jack outside, yeah, like you said, so it just works.
Jack, when you're at the QB spot, it's protection that's important. Tell us about your offensive line.
So
Mention some guys.
yeah, so we got
And don't leave anybody out because you'll hear about
I won't leave nobody out. So to start the season, from left to right, we had Daniel Robertosi, Sean Howell, we had Jackson Campese at center, Richie Udiab at right guard, and Riley Johnson at right tackle. And going into the season, like, those were our good guys. Like, we were so confident with them on line, and then we noticed how Richie, his potential on defense, like, it was there. Like, we knew that he could play it like a really good nose guard, and we were like, what do we want to focus on more, him on offense or him on defense? So we moved him to the defensive side of the ball. We brought in Sebastian Malikov, and we put him there. He shaped up our line a little more. We brought in Danny Bailey, put him at tackle and then guard, and it's nice because we get to rotate in a lot of line, and it gives them a breather. Some of them play defense, so they'll go in on defense, rep there. Then they'll come on offense, so rep there, sub guys in, and it gives them a break to, like, come out and block more.
Coach Hill talked a little bit, not specifically about that, but after the game against Wall, where Wall, a lot of guys going both ways. And I know if you can play two platoon and guys only play one side of the ball, you try to do as much as you can because it helps. Did you notice that late in that game? Some of the guys, especially the guys in the trenches, you guys felt a little bit more fresh there in that fourth quarter?
100%. We were coming into the huddle. They were, like, energetic. They were like, all right, let's go. Like let's run the ball. I want to pancake someone. Like, let's do this. And then it's great to see that. I love seeing that.
Sounds like you're making a lot of the subs, Jack.
Nah, that's all him.
You sounds like you moved a lot of kids around here to get them into the game. But the kids, the kids are so important. The school is so important, the pep rallies if you have them, the pasta parties if you have them, just so important to get them behind you because when you come out and then you got the Howell, who sings the national anthem?
That's
the Rebel Yell.
The Rebel Yell. The Rebel
yeah.
Yell. I mean, I look forward to that every time we do a game over there, Outstanding, a lot better than that band playing up there in the stands,
Nah, they're good too.
The
they're
band's
good too.
They're good.
No,
Good.
but I just love the singing of the national anthem.
Yeah.
But, tell us a little bit about those fans and how they get behind. Do you have a section? Every team seems to have a section now.
Yeah, so
What do they call them?
we call our section, like our fan section, know what you're talking about?
Yeah.
We call it the Howell Rebellion.
Oh, the Howell Rebellion.
Yeah, it's good.
Who's the leader of the Howell?
There's like six guys.
A few people, yeah.
It's like Johnny Vecchiarelli, he's on our team.
There you go.
Younger brother, right?
Yeah, younger
Yeah.
brother Nick. Who is it? RJ? Is RJ on there?
Yeah, we got a lot of our
soccer
friends
player.
there.
So they get
It's
the
all
kids.
Like,
They
Yeah.
get it out on the internet, right?
Yeah, they got
Social
always send a
Instagram,
media.
post
Twitter,
out.
all that
And
stuff.
were you black last week?
Yeah.
And for
Of course.
Van Treese,
and
yeah.
right, that was nice to see that around the shore,
whole
just
shore.
to support that kid.
Yeah, while we're on that, just how about that? The Shore Conference as a whole coming together. Everyone has rivalries. There's teams that you don't like just because it's a rivalry, but how great was that to see all these teams and all these different student bodies coming together just for one of our own?
It's great to see that because it shows that everyone's like we all get it. Like it's something that you never want to see happen. And I actually grew up playing baseball with Aaron.
Really?
I played baseball with him for like 2 or 3 summers when we were kids, and I heard his name and I was like, no, that happened to him. Like he was such a good kid when we were small, and I was like, I can't believe something like that would happen to him. But my prayers are up for him because that's such a good kid.
Well said.
Definitely.
We know you have hard-hitting questions, Ed.
Oh yeah, you want some hard-hitting questions?
Yeah,
now,
all
Kevin?
right,
This
all
is
right,
the
all
most
right.
difficult part of the show.
Let's start with Kevin. Okay, so you already told me you have some pasta parties, right?
Yeah.
And they're usually, are they in the school or at
Yeah,
somebody's
they're in the
house?
school
Okay, they're in the
cafeteria.
school. Okay, who's the guy when you get in line, right, that you don't want to get behind because there may not be any food left?
See, I would say Alex Lorenzo, dude. That kid could eat. He could eat every single day in our football group chat. He'd be posting what he eats. He eats everything. It's insane. Like, he eats everything.
What position?
Yeah.
Okay. Because every once in a while, it's like, well, you wouldn't believe it. It's like our safety who's like 5'9",
Yeah.
170, but mostly it is the line.
Yeah,
But I always
Alex,
wanna know.
he put on really good
50
size.
pounds.
Yeah, he put on like 40, 50 pounds over the offseason,
offseason,
and
yeah.
it's
Wow.
it's not just fat. Like he's gaining
Not in the
muscle. Like,
stomach.
Yeah.
he's feeding his muscles.
There you go.
Jack, when you're calling the play, we'll put you back at quarterback. Who's the guy you got to tell to shut up and listen to me? Him?
Bro. They can't. No. Like, I don't know. Like, I get a little amped up in the
Well,
huddle.
you want the ball.
Yeah, I want
Give
the
me
ball.
the ball.
You know, like,
Give me the
I don't
ball.
know. Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
great.
I try to get in the quarterback's ear.
There you go. That's
know.
important.
That's a smart receiver right there.
Jack, who's the guy that makes you laugh?
Oh God,
Practice, games.
Ray defense is
Oh,
the
yeah.
funniest kind
So
of
funny.
team.
He's
It's-
the best. Yeah.
Everything he says just makes our whole team crack up, and it's just great because he goes out and then he produces, and it's like that's the guy I want on my team.
You know, you need a guy like
Yeah.
that, right? You need a guy to keep the team loose. You know, you can't be tight and sky high all the time.
Of course.
Love it.
Okay, Kevin. How about you drop a pass,
All right.
or you fumble? You know, you never do, but who's the guy you don't want to see coming off the field on the
coach.
sideline?
I mean, definitely Coach. You know, Coach would yell at me for that. But like player-wise, I don't know. I'd say
Well,
Sam.
no, I'm talking about a coach. Yeah.
Okay,
a
Coach. Definitely Coach Hill.
Coach Hill.
Definitely Coach Hill. Yeah.
Okay, so when you come off the field, you sort of spot where he is, and you go down the
Yeah, I
opposite
gotta go
end.
the other way.
It's a
Yeah.
veteran move right there.
we got a coach that's up in the booth, and he wears the
Coach
headset
Z.
and stuff. No.
Coach Z, you
Coach
wanna see
Ken
Coach Z,
Bradley.
dude.
Yeah,
Oh, the
if you-
Bradleys.
If you
Yeah.
fumble the next day at practice, you're doing 50 push-ups.
Oh yeah. No, you're
And
going to
he'll
work.
give it to you. He
Yeah.
don't
we
hold back.
We know Kenny. Others
Yeah.
follow Tom well. We covered Kenny for many years. Yeah, Kenny's,
Yeah, I love him.
he's a good
Yeah.
coach.
My
He'll
dog.
get
Good
after
guy.
you, though.
Yeah.
If you don't think you're supposed to. So a couple other fun ones that we'll get into next week. So what other sports you play?
I play baseball and basketball.
Okay,
Yeah.
so college-wise, you want to play sports in college? Is it football? Have you kind of made it?
It's football for me. Football is my love. It's an obsession. It's not a hobby. It's not something I just come out and do because I'm big. So like maybe I'll be good at this. Like I'm obsessed with football. It's something that I put my whole life into, and I've been doing it for 10 years. Like it's been my love forever.
That's awesome. Have you decided on a school yet, or are you still in that process?
I'm still in that process. You know, it's getting late, but I'm still doing all the work that I can to get out there and get my name out there and get recruited by some college coaches.
Awesome. And Kevin, I know you're a junior, but what are you thinking about in terms of when that time comes? What do you want to do? Play any other sports first of all? And
I played basketball and baseball, but I stopped playing that last year. Just focused on football. But I don't know. I might come back to baseball this year. I don't know. Still thinking about it.
do you think college football's in your future?
Yeah, definitely football.
Awesome. Well, big one this week. So you're 3-2, big win over Wall, and now you got Colts Neck, and you got to go there on a Saturday. And for anyone who doesn't know, man, Howell Colts Neck's a big rivalry
Yeah,
because
definitely. We
there
all know
are
each
kids,
other.
and I don't know where you guys live, but I know how those district lines are. Where you might live in Howell and you go to Colts Neck, or vice versa.
Yep.
In that Farmingdale area, it's kind of where kids go. But
definitely.
you're probably going to play against guys in Saturday you grew up playing Pop
Oh,
Warner
yeah.
with.
No, I went to middle school with 90% of the kids.
Exactly. So it's a huge rivalry, and it's a big game. I mean, they're number 9 in the Shore, 4-1. So just tell us about this week and what goes into it. I know you probably want to treat it as any other game, but there's a little bit more juice to it than usual.
There's a lot of emotion going into this game. We all know each other, and it's a big divisional game for us. You know, we need this win. They haven't had a divisional loss yet this season, so it's just a huge game. Stop Scully, basically. And, I don't know. Scully's a dog, but
Yeah, he's a tough kid.
yeah.
He is, and that's Chris Scully, their running back. I think I wrote Matt when I was doing the scoreboard. That's his brother.
Yeah, he's
But,
good, too, though. He's a stud,
Matt
too.
was a
He's there
really
at
good
Franklin
receiver for
Marshall.
them. But, Chris Scully, he's been averaging like 175 yards
Something
a game.
like
So defensively, like, is it really that simple? Like, stop him first and make
No,
him do
of course
something
not.
else?
Of course not. We know they have other guys like Will Cerdes, and their quarterback Don Bettinato is a great athlete. I played basketball with him. Like I went to camps over the summer, and Will too. They're not just give the ball to Chris and let him do his thing. We're gonna run the ball, but like we're gonna throw on you too if we have to. Like if they have guys to throw to, it's not just a one-dimensional game.
Kevin mentioned the emotion that will just naturally go into it. How do you try to use that as a positive and not let it, not maybe get too high and get off your game, especially early?
Honestly, I think it's just don't try to mess around too much because they're your friends and stuff. Like it's a football game and you have to win this football game. And I think it's that simple for me. I think it's that simple for him too. So I don't know. I'm confident.
Very confident, yeah. I think we put too much emotion into Freehold Township game.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And we can't do that again with the Colts Neck.
Hey, it's all about learning lessons. So if you can learn within the season, more the better, right?
Yeah, of course.
You two guys have been great. We could talk football, you guys, for the rest of the hour, but we do have to talk to Coach Hill and get to some other things. So, again, we'll let you go, let you get back to your meals. Again, great chat in Howell football, and good to see the Rebels back to their winning ways and a huge game this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Just want to keep it going. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
You're welcome.
That's Jack Gartenstein and Kevin Maloney from the Howell Rebels. We thank those guys for joining us. So we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk more Howell football with head coach Bill Hill. You're watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network. Back at MJ's on a somehow still raining Wednesday night. I don't know if this rain's going to ever end. It feels like it might be raining forever, but it's supposed to stop in a little bit. I thought it was done this afternoon, but a little bit more. So back at MJ's again. Thanks to MJ's for having us. It's been a great place for us to do the Coach's Corner from, and also thanks to Varsity Link. Head to varsitylink.com for more on the athletes' social media network, and also shameless plug for ourselves. Head to shoresportsnetwork.com. Not shameless, but a plug for ourselves. And we got a new little fun vote up. Who's got the best concession stand in the Shore? I have my opinions on it. I want to know what yours are, and so do we. So log on, tell us what you think, and it'll be about a 3-round voting process to see who has the best snack stand in the Shore. We'll do a fun little thing, go there, visit. Maybe we'll have Kevin sample some of the local cuisine out there. We'll have him out there like one of the guys on the Food Network, so we'll see what we can do. But back to the serious talk, and right now we continue with our conversation on Howell football. We're proud to welcome in second-year head coach Bill Hill, longtime Shore Conference football guy. Bill Hill, from his days as a star player at Howell, couple different stops coaching, now back at his alma mater, and he's got the Rebels at 3-2. So, Bill, first of all, just thanks for coming down here. Thanks for bringing two outstanding players and really good kids to talk to, and we're excited to talk to you now, too.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's always an honor to be around you guys talking. We got great, Jack and Kevin group having a great year so far, so it's going well.
Billy, I'm going to give our listeners who don't know too much about you a little bio on you, and I'll build you up a little bit before we ask you the tough questions, okay? But anyway, as Bobby mentioned, big-time star at Howell, where you ran in your high school career for over 3,000 yards, and also played baseball, of course, outstanding baseball player. You went on to get a ride at the University of Virginia, but unfortunately you were injured. Then you went to the baseball side. You hooked up at local school, Brookdale Community College, which, of course, is one of the best community colleges in the country, where you made honorable mention All-American there. You were drafted by none other than the lovely New York Mets, right, in 1979. You played in the New York Penn League. Then you got that itch to play football again. So you walked on at Rutgers, where none other than the Cleveland Browns in your senior year drafted you. Then you went on to the New York Generals of the World Football League, and then you got picked up as a free agent for the Dallas Cowboys.
Right.
Then you started your high school career, okay?
Right.
Toms River South, 3 years, Asbury Park a year, a few assistant coaches, and then you got the big-time job at Howell, your old alma mater. Tell us what it was like to come back to Howell.
Well, this is great to be able to come back to Howell. Frank Edgley had got the job. I was up at St. John Vianney. I was associate head coach, offensive coordinator. And doing that at that same time, Frank called me and asked would it be nice to come back to Howell. And I knew Frank that he was still NFL type of guy. So being able to work with Frank for a year, then come back to Howell, and just to be in the same hallway with the kids are great. So just like a 360 coming back, it's a real blessing to come back to Howell for me.
There's that show on NFL Network called The Football Life. You have lived a football life. You have, like Ed just read, everything. I mean, football, athletics in general, but football has been everything. You coached your son when you were at Toms River South, so it's such a big part of your family. So what's it mean to just still be involved in the game and still coaching and just doing what you love, obviously?
Well, I always wanted, when I retired, I wanted to coach, but I never, you just didn't think you'd be coaching at your high school. Yeah, at your alma mater, because you want to still do something retired, because you're still putting in pretty good hours during the day in coaching. But as a head coach, you're putting like 8 hours. It's not like you're putting as assistant coach. You may put 4 or 5, but head coach, you're putting a lot more hours. But it's just really great to be back at the school with the administration. Is great. All the coaches, the different levels, we all get along well. I just love being back over there. It's really good feeling being there.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Your son is coaching.
My son, he kind of coached.
That's always special.
Yeah, he kind of coached the defense a little bit. I still got my hand on it a little bit.
Got it, right? Yeah. That's why you're the head coach. Tell me about this group. I mean, you guys are 3-2, but record aside, just talking to your players after last week's win over Wall, and then having a conversation with those guys now, especially what Jack said, kind of resonated that this group in the offseason was just, they were hungry and they didn't want to lose anymore, and they wanted to get back to the winning ways. Yeah. And it seems like those guys have really risen up, especially the seniors taking a leadership role, and that's a big reason why you guys are 3-2 now.
Yeah, I think for the guys you had up here, the athletes, they were they're tremendous athletes last year, so we knew that coming back. But the biggest thing, I thought that the day after Thanksgiving, we went Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the weight room. We haven't, since that was the first time we ever had weight room, and we're not quite where we want to be yet, but we're definitely getting bigger and stronger, and that showed. Like we talked about it at before the game in Wall. We knew they were going to come out of 21 personnel and just try to run downhill on you. So I said, this is going to be our real test, somebody that could really physical and run downhill. So actually a couple guys on defense, we had Declan Flaherty back. His first game, he was sick all year. Yeah. His first game, 6'4", 230. He played strong side backer. You have Maley in the middle, Ray DeFran. I mean, Seven Miller, Alex. You had a bunch of guys. That front seven, the safeties coming up. So they did an outstanding job that second half. And we rotating a lot of guys in there on defense too. So that was the first big test. I was really proud that we could, play toe-to-toe a little bit with Wall. And obviously we know, Kevin and those guys, they've been working since Thanksgiving also, going to speed and agility, lifting weights and route running and all kinds of stuff. So these guys are mentally college. They're really thinking about playing at another level.
Billy,
Jack, yeah.
you get the head job. You come back to Howell as an assistant and then the head job, and they say, oh, wait a minute, we're going to have a pandemic now.
Yeah.
I mean, how did you deal with that in your program?
Well, the first part of it was like we couldn't even lift.
Yep.
And a lot of other schools was lifting weight. The field district didn't lift, so that was tough. And so it was tough. I think Kevin has said something before. It's a tough time to get a head coaching job in the middle of the pandemic. Yeah. But, then, you get a couple guys sick, then you're sending 4 or 5 guys home. And actually the Frio Township game, we had lost some guys with that. So that was very tough, but we're just trying to, keep a lot of guys repping, a lot of guys playing. So, like you say, it's still not over yet. So we're still just keeping our fingers crossed that we're keeping everybody healthy. This is good. The kids are great. They're very positive. We laugh and talk at times too. We try to make it fun also. Still high school football. So,
yep.
But they're working hard. I enjoy coaching. I told them it's not about me. I got to say, with the coaching staff we have, we can help you guys get better if you want to go play in college or just enjoy this high school football.
And again, you got 3 games in the regular season left,
right.
so there's a lot of football still to be played.
Yeah.
But the way you guys played on Friday night, you looked like a playoff team. And you got to do a lot of things well. You have to be good in multiple areas to be a playoff team and have success there. But from Egan Nelms at quarterback, allowing you to move Jack out, and we talked about that with those guys, and I talked to you about that after the game. And just, Jack and Kevin on the outside, and then, getting Declan back, and then Damian Padilla, one of the best tight ends in the Shore, Brandon Wright. On the offensive side, it seems like everything is in place for you guys to be a multiple offense. And kind of, if a team is weak in one area, you have the strengths to attack that. So collectively now, with Egan at quarterback and playing well, do you feel like that makes you guys so much harder to defend?
With Egan playing, first of all, Jack, there's not too many guys that I know that could throw a touchdown, catch a touchdown, and run a touchdown.
Yeah.
So so it's not like he's like on a demotion plan. It's just that we know that he's a backside X. He's going to get double. You can't double everybody. Damian can run down the field. We're getting Declan back. So that's good. But one thing, and probably you don't like to talk about it, but we lost Brandon with an injury. You probably don't want to say that to get the other team, but to me, I wanted to mention he was having a great year. Mm-hmm. Brandon Wright, he tore his ACL last year, about halfway through the season. Mm-hmm. And then so to me, I feel bad that here's a kid that worked all off season, and you missing him. You miss him. So we have a lot of guys that really put a lot of time in, and we're just trying to get right now. We're just working hard every day to get better. But I just want to bring that about Brandon also, yeah. And then you got Gavin Carr who stepped in while Declan was out. I mean, he got a 40 or 60-yard touchdown pass call back against Jackson. So we got guys. We got guys that are just getting better. We always just trying to just get more guys involved, better after, try to get them to the next level.
Coach, Colts Neck.
Yes.
They're going to run the ball on you.
21. Scully.
He's going to run the ball. Are you a film guy, first of all?
All day long.
All day long. There you go. So what they do. You got to stop them.
Correct.
Are you ready? I know you got 2 more days left. But
yeah, we're working hard. They do a lot of stuff with him, but you got to keep an eye on other things too. But they're definitely, downhill team. I mean, Scully practices on that field. I live 5 minutes from Scully. I live in Howell. He lives in Howell. He lives right 5 minutes from me. He goes to Kosenek with other guys. Great family.
Wait a minute. How's that work?
That's the way the district lines are that we talked about. No, it's legit. That's the way.
Yeah.
537 goes across the Frio Township. He lives across the street from Ardena School, which I went. That's what Scully was.
Ardena, sure.
So I'm just saying but he's in the summertime. He opens up our stuff and get our practice gear out. He knows where everything is. So I see him. I kid around with him. But he's a great player. His father works in the system with the AYF. He's a good guy. Right. I like the family. My son did some camps with his older brother because my son coached at Coast Neck. So, but he's that guy. He's gonna get the ball. We know he's gonna get the ball. It was look, everybody knows that that's the number one. Playing where I played at, you take away the first option,
away the first guy.
second option, then the third option. That's how you practice all week. So hopefully we're getting better and better, and look like they know the kids know what they have to do.
And
Sam and Ray know what they got to do. Yeah.
You mentioned this before, but playing a Wall team that stylistically maybe a little bit similar to Colts Neck, but more in the sense where they're going to line it up and running at you and be physical, and you kind of know what you're going to get. It's just about matching that physicality and executing. And you guys did that. So does that give you confidence saying, hey, we were able to stand toe-to-toe with a team that was going to try to to play power football, so we know we can do it this week?
I think we had that conversation last Tuesday going into Wall that in order to be a successful football team, you got to maintain the line of scrimmage. And this was, we had some other teams were pretty good too, with Jackson and Central, but the kid at Central got hurt. But we knew that Wall, watching tape, that they really was that, I heard they reduced their playbook to just 3 or 4 plays, so we knew what they were going to do. So, yeah, I think it gives the guys a little bit of a confidence, but still, it's still got to be in the heart that you got to really come at it. You got to get after them. We have to get after them. Yeah.
Well, I certainly see you hitting them with a lot more variety than they're going to hit you with. That's for sure, because you move the ball around through the air and on the ground and so on. Has this week hurt you at all with this horrendous weather that we've had? Have you been outside every day?
Actually, we play Saturdays. We had an extra day, so we did a lot of film work Monday, Tuesday.
Okay.
Weight room Monday, Tuesday. So you could actually do a little walkthrough. We knew what they were going to do. So we had a good practice today on the turf.
That helps when you can practice on the turf.
Yeah, we had a good practice today. We had 2 more practices. So the kids are, they're flying around today. They're excited. So that's what you want on a practice today. So I feel pretty good about where we're stepping in, and offensively, you got some weapons. You want to use them. You're going to use them.
Yep.
I'll ask you one last one before we let you go.
Yeah.
So the players mentioned it, and we talked about how big of a rivalry it is, and certainly emotions come into play. That's natural at any level, especially with high school kids. Some of these kids are their friends, or they've been playing with them or against them forever. How do you try to, as a coach and as a staff collectively, let that emotion, come through, but use it in a positive way instead of kind of getting in your own head or maybe getting too amped up?
I think that this has been going on for a while with the kids, and even when I went to school, kids I went to grade school with went there. So, but with these guys, they don't seem to let that get in the way. At least they don't tell us, but. It seems like we come out to play. I really don't think the emotion is really. They mention it, but I think once it comes down to playing ball, they really want to win. So I don't think that really again. I think they know what they have to do for what we're trying to be this year. Like we only halfway there, and you still got a lot of work to do. You take one game at a time, and every day we're just trying to get a little bit better.
Well, without a doubt, it's one of the best games of the weekend.
Absolutely.
Colts Neck and Howell, it's right up there with the best. And we want to wish you from the Shore Sports Network a lot of luck, Bill.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, look, if it's week 6 and you're playing in big games, that means you're right. Yeah. You're right where you want to be, setting yourself up. So, Bill, we really appreciate you coming down. You and Jack and Kevin. Great to talk Howell football, and great to learn a little bit more about your program today. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right. That's Howell head coach Bill Hill wrapping up our discussion on the Rebels. So, again, we thank those guys for coming down. And we got about 10 minutes left, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back here at MJ's, and we'll talk about what to look forward to in Week 6. You're watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network. we'll say time does go quite quickly when you have good guests. And hour 3 from Howell were some of the best we've had on. So great to talk to Jack Artenstein, Kevin Maloney, and Howell head coach Bill Hill back here at MJ's in Neptune. Final 10 minutes or so of the Week 6 Varsity Link Coach's Corner. And again, thank you to our sponsor, Varsity Link. They do a great job over there with their new venture, and it's an intriguing app. I remember when I first found out about it, talking to Jason Wamba over at Asylum, who helps run the Varsity Link side of things, and he explained it to me, and I said, okay, this is pretty good. I mean, you see social media now and athletes' personal pages, and some of them are very professional looking, others are not, and with Varsity Link, it gives them that central location to have a professional looking social media page. It has their contact information as far as college recruiting goes, their statistics, any of their measurables, anything a college coach would need to look at quickly at a glance. Highlights can be posted there, and players can also interact with their teammates, other players, coaches, and whatnot. So it's a great resource for the high school athlete, and this is a football show, but it's not just football players. Any sport, soccer, basketball, wrestling, golf, you name it. If it's a high school sport, it can help the high school athlete. So make sure to head to varsitylink.com and wherever you download apps, download their app. Give it a look, give it a try. You'll like it. So, Ed, Week 6, and it really does feel like a couple weeks ago. It's cliche, but we were over at Asylum doing that first show, talking to the guys from Manalapan, trying to figure out what was going on, making our division-winning picks, and here we are. Week 6, the playoffs are coming up, in a little bit less than a month. So some big games on the horizon. Division titles are still hanging in the balance. So it's going to be a fun 3 weeks. And after non-divisional games last week, we get back into the divisional matchups. So some big ones. The American Division, Wall Donovan Catholic, Red Bank Catholic, Manalapan. The big one in that division, Middletown South, number 5 in the Shore Sports Network top 10. Going pretty close. They'll go through Locust over the Navesink River Road, maybe over the Oceanic Bridge over there, and they'll be into Borden Stadium, take on number 7 Rumson. A really intriguing game. These teams have played some really good ones over the years. It's usually a close defensive game. Rumson's won 3 in a row after that 0-2 start. So I think this is going to be a really good one. That's where I'll be on Friday night, Ed. I anticipate a pretty good one.
I think Jeremy Schulte's got it going now, the new head coach of Rumson, and I was up at Rumson a couple days ago in the pouring rain, watched my granddaughter play field hockey against the 2 good teams.
So you're a dedicated grandfather.
Toms River North still undefeated, so give a little shout out to them on the field hockey field. But they beat Rumson that day. But anyway, sort of scouted out the football team over there practicing. I mean, as we mentioned a couple times tonight, the weather has been so bad this week, but Rumson lucky enough to have football turf field and also a brand new baseball, field hockey, soccer turf field. So
facilities
they
are great
got
over
the
there.
Facilities almost, around the shore are just getting better and better.
Rumson's also a great place to watch a football game. That's become just the way it's the design. However it is, the crowds are always great there, and I expect that and more on Friday night. Into the Constitution Division. These are Friday games. Freehold and Freehold Township, huge rivalry game. Freehold winless. Freehold Township coming off the big win over Brickmore. They play for the Duke. You got to love a rivalry game with a cool name for a trophy. So that'll be on the line. Freedom Division, Toms River South at Brickmore. Ocean, undefeated at Brick Township. The Dragons 3-2. Ocean can clinch at least a share for the division title going in there. So that's a good one there because Brick is still a tough team. They got 2 losses on the season, but that's a game Ocean certainly, you got to go in there and play well in Keller Memorial Field.
Yeah, I think this is the week, the next couple of weeks are the weeks when the teams that are supposed to win have to win.
Yes.
They got to keep it rolling, because we got clear-cut favors, like, for instance, that one, Ocean and Brick. I would say Ocean is a clear-cut favorite. But they have to continue to win because Brick is dangerous.
Yes.
And they've got 3 wins on the board. They'd love to get that 4th, which would set them up for the playoffs. So those teams, like teams like Monsignor Donovan, tough game for them. They have to get – I should say, I'm sorry, Donovan Catholic.
Okay.
I keep saying Monsignor Donovan.
Put the money in the
find me $1.
We got to get a Donovan jar who put the money in for that.
But anyway, they have to get back on the winning ways and get that 4th win, and keep the win streak going. So it's important for those schools to get back on the winning side.
Certainly is. Independence Division, Monmouth Regional 2-3 at Point Borough. Panthers 5-0 and rolling. Raritan at St. John Vianney. Always a rivalry game. Those two teams are right in the same area over there. Raritan's lost 2 in a row. St. John Vianney looking to keep rolling at 5-1. Liberty Division. Madawan's the favorite there, but the rest of that division, I can't figure it out. And it's kind of like the old B South, and you have a bunch of old B South teams in there. So Manchester at Barney, at Jackson Liberty, at Pinelands. I will pick a team to win each of those games, but those would be games where I will not be super confident in just because of the way, again, old B South teams, it's like the Wild West. You can never figure out what's going on.
Madawan's won, 4 in a row?
Yeah, Madawan's won 4 in a row after
a
a loss to Raritan to start the season. They're playing well. Jay Graber, this is a state championship head coach back at his time at Allentown.
Yep.
He's got some really good young players. Amy Martinez, their sophomore quarterback. Welwyn Crooms, freshman wide receiver. Just to name a few. So they have some good players, and they're playing really well right now. Patriot Division, Keensburg at Asbury Park, Point Beach at Shore. That's always a good rivalry game. Point Beach, Shore in a lot of different sports, and Shore's playing really well, 4-1 after the season opening loss. On to Saturday, we mentioned the Howell Colts Neck game, a huge one. That's at Colts Neck at noon. Jackson Memorial at Marlboro, which looked like it was going to be a monster game till the injury to Marlboro quarterback A.J. Schwartz. But Marlboro's still a good team, a tough team. We saw them battle hard against St. John Vianney. And Jackson Memorial coming off a 34-0 win over Jackson Liberty. Jaguars looking to continue to play strong. Red Bank at Neptune. Neptune winless. Red Bank kind of up and down, but certainly have had some nice wins.
It's a pretty even game, I think.
It is. I mean, Neptune scored. Neptune had a bye last week. They scored 40-something points, in a loss to Brick Memorial.
Yes.
They can score. Holmdel at Manasquan. Holmdel winless, which I was surprised to see that they had no wins. And I looked at their schedule and said, oh, yeah. But they've had some injuries. Their head coach, Jeff Rainis, who we talked about.
Who's been out all year.
A little bit of medical issue, hasn't been with the team. So but that's a dangerous team. It's tough to prepare against that split-back veer. But if Manasquan's got Brett Patton still back, the Warriors will definitely be favored in that game. Then we have Tom's Reese at Matawan, and then Lakewood at Keyport rounding out the Week 6 schedule. So back in division play, some interesting games, division titles. We'll go through real quick. RBC still the front runner and still controls its own destiny in the American division. Same thing with Tom's North in the Colonial, the Constitution division. The big one is Howell Colts Neck, so that could really be a huge one that helps decide that division. The Freedom division, Ocean controls its own destiny. Same thing with Point Borough in the Independence division. Matawan, and then Shore down in that Patriot division. But like we said, it's high school football. Anything can happen on a weekly basis. So just when you think you have any idea what's going on, you can take a look at what we did in our picks the previous week. And sometimes they're ugly, Ed.
Well, we certainly have had, Howell represent themselves very well. In the next coming weeks, look forward to some top-flight schools coming down to visit us, both at the office and here at MJ's.
Yeah, look, there's no shortage of teams to pick from,
right.
And it's tough because there's always teams, hey, let's try to get those guys on, and sometimes logistically or for whatever, it doesn't work out. So that's the beauty and the curse, I guess, of having a 42-team football playing conference. We try to cover all of them the best we can, but I will say it's a great conference to be a part of. I mean, you've been around it your entire life after high school, at least coming down. Where'd you first start coaching at?
Keyport. With George Conti.
Look at that.
And Richie Mosca.
And you've been a million places in between. And
60 years have been doing this.
It's a great conference. Obviously, this is our we're a little bit biased, but from the coaches to the players, the programs, the championship history, it's a lot of fun, and it's great to be able to talk to a different one every week, get a new perspective, get some insight, have some laughs, and inform the audience. With the subscription services that you have to do now, you got to pay for reading the papers and for reading the websites. You don't pay anything for the Shore Sports Network, and you get the best coverage from you and Matt and Kevin, and I chip in every now and then on the show. But, that's where you want to go, the Shore Sports Network. It's a team effort, and we love what we do. So with that, once again, thank you to the Howell Rebels for coming down. Kevin Maloney, Jack Gartenstein, and head coach Bill Hill. Again, thank you to MJ's. It's a great spot for us over here, and we look forward to many shows, not just this year, but hopefully in the future as well. And, of course, Varsity Link. Head to varsitylink.com. Download the Varsity Link app. It's the athlete's social media network. So if you're a high school athlete, it is for you. For Ed Sarluca, Steve Meyer behind the camera, and, of course, Tom Tremblay, our engineer, keeping us going all night. I'm Bob Batters for the Shore Sports Network. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next week.